Welcome back to my animal education series. Today I'm doing another virtual interview with my new friends up at the Alaska Zoo in Anchorage. So let's start off by having you introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been at the zoo.
Yeah, so my name is Alyssa. I'm one of the zookeepers here at the Alaska Zoo. I have been here a little bit over a year now, but I've been in and around the zoo since 2016 basically. Full-time zookeeper since last year.
Today we're going to talk about the Musk Ox, and I've been having a really hard time saying that. It's a really bad tongue twister, so please don't beat me up at all if I mispronounce it throughout the video. I'm trying to catch myself, and I've already had to do this clip like 12 times, because I can't say it right. Anyway, how did the Musk Ox get its name?
It's not a native Alaskan name, Musk Ox. They have a completely other name for them. So Musk Ox is just what the settlers called them. It's not very accurate because they're not an ox. They're more closely related to goats. So I think probably just has to do with the smell that they emit and wrong information on the settlers' part.
Are these oxen endemic to Alaska?
No, so they're basically found all throughout the Arctic Circle. So they can be found in Alaska, Canada, Greenland, Finland, anywhere at the top of the earth.
What kind of environments do these animals prefer?
The tundra, so it's the top of the earth where there's not a lot of trees. It's just very short grasses and bushes, very cold, and yeah, the tundra.
Based on the locations that you told us these animals can be found in, what kind of adaptations do they have to survive in such cold climates?
They grow a very thick layer of underhair called kibute. It's actually the warmest fiber in the world. It's like, probably don't quote me on this, but it's like 6 times more warmer than wool and quite a bit softer than cashmere. So it's a very, very fine fiber. It's one of the most expensive that you can find. And then they're built very low and stocky and just in general, they're built to withstand very, very cold weather.
Some hoofed animals travel alone, or they travel in herds. Does the musk ox travel in herds, or is it more of a solitary animal?
Musk ox are definitely herd animals. They have a very large herd most times, and they are very, very herd-centric animals for sure.
Do these oxen migrate?
They don't. I wouldn't call it a migration. It's more they just follow where the food is. So they move around in their environment just looking for, the areas of land that they haven't already eaten from. So they just follow wherever they can find food.
And looking at the musk ox, they all kind of look the same. Are there any sexually dimorphic traits between the two genders?
The biggest difference is probably just their size. The other difference is their horns here. Males have a very large, it's called a horn boss. It's at the top of their head. It can be up to 8 inches thick, and that protects them from their fighting with other males during rut season. So with females, they kind of have a bigger split in between their horns, and there's usually hair growing there, and they don't have that super thick horn boss because they're not out there fighting a whole lot of other big male musk ox.
For breeding purposes, do only the dominant males mate, or do the females typically select multiple males?
I think theoretically females would take multiple mates. It just kind of depends on where the dominant male is. So if another male can sneak in and find one of the females and make it happen, then he does. But usually the largest male of the herd kind of shoos all of the younger suitors away.
What other animals are closely related to the musk ox?
They're most closely related to true goats, so like mountain goats and some other goats that exist in like the Himalayas. So not ox or cows or anything like that.
Like other animals that have a large amount of body hair on them, it's kind of hard to tell their true size. How large can an adult musk ox usually get?
I think males can get over 800 pounds. So they're very stocky, large animals. Little Rock is kind of on the big side for a male. He's, I don't have an exact weight, but I would guess he's around 650. So they can get pretty large.
In doing my research on the musk ox, I found some really interesting information on how they defend themselves from predators. Do you mind elaborating on that?
Yeah, so they are very dependent on the herd to protect them. So basically when a muskox herd is facing a threat, they form a circle around all of the females, the young females and calves. So all of the young healthy adults form a complete circle around whatever their weakest counterparts are. And so that allows all of the strong, young, healthy muskox to try to protect from whatever threat it is. They kind of take it by what kind of threat it is, but most often, like the strongest one lone muskox will go out of the circle to try to protect, go attack whatever the threat is, and then go back into the circle.
What predators do these oxen have?
Most often it's wolves, packs of wolves. Now with climate change and all of that, the brown bears are starting to reach higher up into Alaska and everywhere else in the world. So now it's become brown bears and of course humans.
How long do they live in the wild versus captivity?
Usually 10 to 15 years in the wild is pretty normal. And then in captivity they can get up to be 20.
And how did this oxen make its way to the Alaska Zoo?
So this is Little Rock. He was born in Palmer, Alaska, which is about an hour away from here at the Musk Ox farm. And they have a whole herd of musk ox out there. So he was born there and brought here 2 years, when he was 2 years old. And then Maya, our adult female over there, was also born at the Musk Ox farm at the same year as Little Rock. And so she was brought here because her mother actually rejected her at birth. So she was brought here just as a calf. And so we bottle raised her. And then our third musk ox is named Sarah Liz, and she was actually born here from Maya and Little Rock.
At the Alaska Zoo, how do you guys simulate a musk ox's natural environment?
They get a plethora of enrichments around here, especially all of them really like to hit stuff because in the wild they would be protecting their herd from all kinds of things. So they really like ramming stuff. So they have the brushes and the posts that they kind of knock around. And then other than that, we can scatter food. We can give them different scents that they don't usually smell on their regular basis. And so it just keeps them alert and aware of their environment and what's going on.
And I've been to a lot of zoos down here in the lower 48 states, and I have never seen a musk ox. Is it the warmer temperatures down here that prevent most zoos from having a musk ox in their collection?
Musk ox are one of the few animals that actually don't have a limit on how low the temperatures can go. So they are totally comfortable in up to like -50 to -75, very, very cold temperatures. But they definitely have a cap on how warm they can comfortably live in. So it's really hard to keep them anywhere that is going to be cold or warm because they just can't handle it. They are covered in such dense hair that there's no other way to protect them from the heat other than just living in a cold area.
Why do you think it's important for people to see and to learn about these animals?
They're really cool. I've met so many people that don't even know that they exist, have never heard of musk ox in general. So they're a really fun species to learn about and see. They're so interesting and so intelligent that I think more people should know about them.
And to close it off, is there anything else that you would like to add about the musk ox?
Well, Little Rock here is my favorite animal in this whole zoo. And he may look big and scary and mean, but he's actually just a big lover. He really loves pets. From my team and everybody, he's just a very intelligent animal, even though he doesn't quite look like it.
And I want to thank my new friends at the Alaska Zoo for another awesome virtual interview. And I want to thank you guys for watching this week's video. So don't forget to leave a big thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I'll see you next week.